Command Point now has merch. Link in the description. Warzone Studio was kind enough to send out a couple of their battle mats for us to review, and I have to say, you guys, I absolutely love them. The mats we received have the kill team layout on them, making it quicker and easier to place objectives and terrain pieces to create a good play experience. The mousepad material the mats are made from is an upgrade from the foldable cardstock boards that you are used to seeing come in kill team boxes. Warzone Studio are even helping support the channel by giving us a kickback for each order placed using the link in the description below. So make sure to check them out, and thank you to Warzone Studio for sponsoring this video.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Command Point, and welcome to the fourth day of Kill Team. And our surprise here today is that we're going to be talking about the Elucidian Starstriders and deep diving in. And joining us today is a very, very good Elucidian Starstrider player from the East Coast, Leander. Leander, how's it going?
Hi Shane. I'm doing all right. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. You know, it's the holidays. It's my one of my favorite times of the year, so I'm getting into the groove of things. But recording these interviews has been fun, and I'm excited to talk about Star Striders with you. So, um, I guess let's just jump into the first question. So, I guess for somebody that's getting into Star Striders, um, and they're like looking at a team and they're trying to decide whether or not this is the direction they want to go in. How would you, as somebody like a seasoned veteran with the team, how would you describe their play style?
Um, I would say Starstriders are a very versatile but fragile team.
Hmm.
If you're a beginner just getting into the game, I would not recommend them because they're not forgiving. You when you roll up to a table on open board where the layouts aren't fixed, you need to make a bunch of decisions about how you're going to play the game based on the terrain, and that changes with each game.
Nice. Yeah, no, that checks out a little bit. I guess like before I get into the more like concrete questions, what kind of drew you to Star Striders personally? Was it? I know you played them when they were a little bit more. They're very good right now, but I know there was a period when you played them when they were really kind of a top tier team. Was that the appeal, or was there something more about the way that you can pilot them that really like drew you to that team?
Um, I would say them being a top tier team wasn't really the appeal for me because in preparation for Adepticon, where I won my golden ticket, I was practicing Star Striders against my brother's Navy Breachers, and he annihilated me every game we played. Um, and it wasn't the players because we have the same skill level, but Star Striders have some difficult matchups. But the reason I played them is because I really love how they play and how how they reward good positional play and stacking all the auras. And if I wanted to be as sweaty as possible for Adepticon, I would have taken Navy Breachers because that's what I took to KTO, the second one. But I ended up going 2-2, and then I decided I'm just gonna take the team that I love.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's always a good way to go about things, is to just follow your heart a little bit. Um, so I guess this is a question I used to ask. I asked last year, and I'm asking it again this year, and it's one of my favorite ones to hear from players. So I think one of the trickiest parts about picking up a new team is how do you play that first turning point, that TP1. So I think it's a huge learning curve for most teams, and I would assume Star Striders have a little bit of that too. So what's your general approach on the first turn of the game with this team?
Generally, I like to on almost every map I play their +1 inch ploy because most objectives on kill team boards are designed to be just outside uh, either 6 inches or a 9 inch move dash from your drop zone. And so that +1 inch helps with so many movement breaking points. You get an edge on your opponent right from the start. Um, and turn one, my main concern is getting three from the mission. Uh, because if you fall behind turn one with Starstriders, then it can be difficult to catch up because they don't have many tools to overpower your opponent on the mission. So if your opponent goes 4-2 against you turn one, then for the rest of the game, you even if you're winning, you probably won't get 4-2 on them later. Um, and turn one, I like to I'll of course have the dog pick up recover item. That's free 2VP. And then I have a regular Voidsman move and dash onto a vantage point to set up for turn two because Starstriders have an ability called support assets where even if a guy is concealed and is already gone, you can call in an airship strike on enemies. And so putting that Voidsman on vantage gives me a lot of board control for turn two. That's about it.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, those assets are very scary. As an elite player, I've had a lot of nightmares about them. Um, so I guess to turn the page a little bit, would you describe as a moment that you can think back on, whether it's at a tournament or just at like your local store or playing with your brother at home, where you made a really cool play that like drew somebody's attention and like that you were really proud of, that where somebody might have seen it and been like, oh wow, okay, Star Striders are really cool. So I guess what's the coolest play you've ever made with Star Striders?
It would have to be at Adepticon in my final game, playing for the golden ticket against JD's Wormblade. He on one flank he had activated all of his gunners, so I was free to do what I wanted, and he had made a misplay where this was still the early days of Into the Dark, and most people didn't know you could full normal move and go on guard and shoot with a heavy weapon. And so uh, JD had activated all his gunners on one flank. He had one guy loosely positioned behind a barricade where I could shoot him, and another guy in the corner of a room where he would be hard to get, both in the same room. And so I gave my rotor cannon, which is a heavy gun, +1 APL. And so he 7-inch moved. He kicked open the door to that room, and he went on guard to where he could shoot both the guy behind the barricade and the guy in the corner of the room. And so JD did one action, and then I guarded and killed one guy, and then JD finished his activation, and it was my activation, and I AP2 support asseted the other guy,
Oh, very
and
cool.
yeah, that gave me enough of an edge and I went on to win the game.
Wow, that's a really cool. That's really interesting. The concept of like immediately, like right after overwatching with a guy, you then have the option to then like call in the blast asset and just delete multiple things. That's cool. Um, really cool. So,
Yeah, on
oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, on Into the Dark. I will admit it's a bit garbage lore wise that you can call in an asset that pierces deep into a space hulk and
Yeah,
pinpoints a single wormblade guy.
never really understood that myself, but I guess it would be pretty tough to play them without it. Um,
Yeah.
so, in terms of matchups and how they stack up against the field, obviously we in the current world we live in a Commando Chaos Cult meta where those are kind of the top teams right now. But things change over time, and I want people to be able to look at this in like 6 months and still get something. So I guess like what for you characterizes a good matchup or a bad matchup for Star Striders? Like what kinds of teams do you struggle with, and what kinds of teams are you pretty good against?
The I would say the teams that I struggle the most with are elites because Starstriders have they can get they can shoot a lot of shots in one turn, but they don't have very much armor piercing in a single turn. So my experience against elites on Into the Dark at least, on most boards, they can move up safely turn one, and then turn two set up enough threats where you can't kill them fast enough and you end up getting tabled. So, yeah, that matchup is pretty scary.
Hmm.
And then also, of course, commandos, but it's commandos for everyone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And in terms of good matchups for Starstriders, none immediately come to mind. I wouldn't say Starstriders have any great matchups because they're so versatile into almost every team in the game besides elites and commandos. They're about even against them.
Okay. Really cool. So, I mean, one thing that I find interesting to talk about a little bit is, um, when people pick up a new team, there's certain common mistakes that crop up for just about any faction, but it's always something different. So, for you, watching somebody else play Star Striders and learn the team, what's the most common mistake you see from other Star Strider players where if they just stop doing this, they would like level up their game a lot, and it would make it a little bit easier for them to kind of progress with the faction?
Well, Starstriders are so rare that I think on the East Coast, I'm the only person that plays them. And then yeah, so the only other Star Strider player I've seen is Ryan from Turning Point Tactics,
Hmm.
who is very
Very good.
good. Yeah, I'm not too sure how what tips I could give him.
Okay, well, how about when you started? Was there anything that you were struggling with, and then like something like a light bulb clicked in your head, and it was like, oh, I should stop doing that, and then it's gonna get easier,
Yeah,
around that.
something I started doing once I played the team enough was the the ninja is with her 5 up invuln save and 6 up feel no pain. A lot of the times, what she does is turn one, she runs onto unsafe objectives and gets them for you and allows you to stay in the game. And I would say another thing that I didn't do at the start with Star Striders is the Electro Priest, the Martian guy.
Hmm.
He has a 4-inch aura of re-rolling your defense dice. Oh, you get balanced on your defense dice,
Hmm.
and so stacking that re-roll with the ninja's 5 up invuln and a cover save, if you if your drop zone is unsafe to the point where you have to put one person in a shootable position before they can move, then you usually want the ninja to go there because she most likely will not die,
Yeah,
whereas a voidsman will.
yeah. The assassin lady. She's extremely hard to kill for a lot of teams. I've noticed. Um, all right, so I think we're getting close to wrapping up, and there's one question that I'm asking everybody. Last year it was different. I was asking people their favorite Christmas song. This year I'm asking, what is your favorite Christmas movie if you have one, Leander?
It would probably be Die Hard because the yeah.
I love it. This is exactly what Dakota said yesterday on the third day of Kill Team. So, you are in good company, my friend.
Yeah, the for me, I think I've only seen Die Hard and Home Alone, and Bruce Willis is hard to beat. So
Yeah, he definitely is. So, of course, Leander, thank you for coming on. Thank you to everybody that's watching, all the subscribers. You guys rock. Tomorrow is going to be the fifth day of Kill Team, and I want everybody to stay tuned because we're going to be talking about the menace themselves, Chaos Cultists. So, buckle up, play some Star Striders. This is Shane and Leander signing out.
yeah, thanks for having me on.